Now, a message from the UN.
All right! Oh, yeah! I like dessert, but I know what's better. I've got the tools that can make you wetter. Woo! Legs are spread, I can almost taste that. Doesn't matter if there's too many hairs. Baby, just pull down those underwears. Lick it, puss. Lick it, puss. Oh, we're licking pussy. Lick it, puss. Lick it, puss. Oh, we're licking puss now.
It's the World Saving Podcast. Let's do it.
Woo! Simpatico like our friendship.
Yep.
And we're back. Andy Frasco's World Saving Podcast. I'm Andy Frasco. How's your heads? How's your minds? Are you living the way you want to live? Are you doing you? You like that?
Yeah.
New single out. You do you. Come on.
The other day, Julie goes, she was talking about my book or whatever or something. She goes, "Can you self-promote stuff on the podcast?" She asked if I was allowed to. I was like, no, I'm not actually. It's part of my contract.
I've been working on that.
No, it's fine. I don't.
Buy Nick's book.
But promote your own shit because you got more going on.
Please buy Nick's book.
You have a lot more overhead to cover than I do.
Oh, fuck. So much overhead.
Like, I have designed my career perfectly to where like my profit margins are massive.
Yeah.
Everything I do, it's like just a huge profit. I keep almost all the dollars.
Then I think about bigger bands who have like so much other shit, like tour buses and lights, and
like an tour accountant,
a tour accountant.
But those guys, actually, that's probably the one guy on the fucking tour that pays for himself.
Schwartz was a tour accountant.
That makes sense
for Ozzy Osbourne.
I bet he was amazing at it. But those guys actually probably like the money they save you pays for their salary and more. So it's like
probably
if they're good.
How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing fine.
Big week tonight. Ken Jennings.
Dude, I've been telling people.
The host of fucking Jeopardy. Everyone's stoked. Even my mom's stoked for this interview.
That's what I'm saying. I've been telling people about that he's coming on, and they're like, it's the first time I've told them. They're like, whoa. Because I've told them like we had Tony Hawk or Burt, some famous people, but like when it's a comedian or an athlete, this guy works for Disney. Like there's something harder to get about him. He's a network star.
And he was on the World Saving Podcast. We're asking about groupies and everything, and he talked. Let's go.
He was a great interviewer.
We are getting good at our job, bud.
He's honestly a better interviewer than a lot of musicians we've had on. It's like, why is this guy more interesting than a person that travels the world doing drugs?
Yeah, I've been interviewed.
He is smart as shit, though. That's why. Yeah.
And he's Mormon, and I thought he wouldn't talk, and he talked.
No, but I think, there's levels to this shit. You know what I mean? There's levels to every religion. There's the Hasidic Jews, and then there's the people like you who are like, yeah, I'm Jewish. Once you get your bar mitzvah check, you're not Jewish anymore. You know what I mean? And by the way, I grew up in the Catholic Church. There's the exact same thing exists in that.
Well, like a quinceañera?
Well, no, that's like just I think just like in Latin countries. That's more of a Hispanic Latino thing. But they're all
same type of thing.
But they're Catholic. But that's when you turn 15. It's like sort of like bar mitzvah.
Right.
But in the Catholic Church, they have confirmation.
Yeah.
Where they put the oils on you and you're finally fully Catholic. That's when you're like in 12 or 13, I think.
See, in my campaign of running for mayor of Indianapolis, I will let you be whoever you want.
Me
Doesn't
too.
matter. Doesn't matter if you're Catholic. If you want to be a Jew that lives in Indiana, fuck yeah, I'm here for it. Okay?
We have a JCC.
Yeah. Well, we're going to build 3 more.
That's where I don't think there's enough to support.
Nope, I'm bringing the Jews to Indiana.
It's where all the great basketball players play. Just a migration, like Moses across the desert. That's good.
That's part of my campaign.
I'm going to split the Mississippi River when we get to it. We're coming. Why are they all coming from L.A.? They should be coming from New York.
They're going to realize that.
No, I want the L.A. Jews, actually.
Denver and Chicago are way too fucking expensive. We're going to go to Indianapolis in 10 years.
India, I might get there right before it pops off.
I've been heated about this.
What, the mayor thing?
Yes. Because I am Dude, baffled.
It's purely a political move.
I am baffled that you wouldn't have me as
I get it.
Your co-star.
It's just a play. I need to get a minority. I can't just be the white guy, 2 white guys at the top. And Jewish, that's not going to play as good. I need a black woman.
Okay.
It's like only about race. It's literally has nothing to do with your quality. I mean, you'd be a great Also, you might be too famous by then. I've been thinking about this. I know you're going to like this. This is a great reason. I was thinking you might not have time because you're going to be way too famous and successful by then.
I respect that.
Got it. Got him.
I respect that.
But you are going to play my inauguration.
Fine. I'm slowly becoming the idea that I will be your Bruce Springsteen.
Once I said you're going to be too famous and successful, all of a sudden, things started to click, didn't they? You are, though. 10 years from now, who knows how famous you're going to be?
Or or maybe I would just lose my career, become crazy.
Yeah, how famous you're going to be. 0 to 100.
What if I become like Jerry Busey?
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome. He rules.
He does rule.
Anyone who doesn't think that guy rules, get out of my life. That guy's awesome. I like people. I like crazy people if it's fun.
I was thinking about that, and I'm going to actually, because I'm still going to run.
That's fine.
I'm going to run against you.
Uh-huh.
And my assistant mayor is going to be
Deputy mayor. You don't
Deputy
even have
mayor.
the terminology right.
I'm going to have an Indian lady.
Okay. You don't even know who it is yet?
No, I haven't found
Cool.
her yet.
I already have someone that's a huge person in the education world of Indianapolis.
Well,
Has gotten many underprivileged youth into Harvard, Yale.
Okay, cool.
I mean, she's a Hall of Fame. You know, have you ever heard of Butler University basketball? Yeah, she's a Hall of Famer there.
Okay, cool.
Just got inducted.
Cool, great.
Yeah.
That doesn't scare me.
Leading rebounder all time in Butler University. That's a Indianapolis institution right there.
No, I'm going.
Guess what? She's also 6 feet tall.
Oh, do you think that scares me too?
Yes, because I know tall women intimidate you.
Yeah, they do actually. I do love a tall woman though. Shout out to tall women, but they do scare you.
I didn't say you don't like them. I said they intimidate you.
They do intimidate
You like to
me.
be intimidated a little bit.
I do.
Yeah.
I always think about that. A couple girls I was running around with when I was in my 20s were.
Couple girls all running. You sound like you're at the gas station in Topeka, Kansas. I used to run, back in my day, I used to run around with these tall women. They used to play basketball at Cal Poly. They were Cal Poly basketball players. One was a shooting guard.
One girl, Holly, she was amazing. I fucked that up during.
I think you fucked up a lot of those things. That's fun, though. That's what you do in your 20s.
I guess.
I like dating like 2-3 girls at the same time. That was fun.
I can't date two people in the same town.
I've done it. It's
Really?
Yeah. I just told you about it like 30 seconds ago.
Well, I wasn't really dating. God damn it. Everything. I have too much shit on my fucking head today.
Yeah. Break that out. What else you got going on besides?
Oh, just promoting this fucking tour that we're about to go on.
Promoting's a lot of work, but the more you do it, it does work.
I don't like having to promote 5 things at once.
I
It's
know.
not tight. It's not fun. It's
harder.
It's fucking hard, and it's like you feel obnoxious because you keep on promoting all these different.
I know, but I don't
things,
think
like,
people actually care.
really. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't feel like I'm.
Only
being
people
obnoxious.
my thing with that is like the only people you're gonna bother with that are people who probably weren't gonna go anyway.
Yeah.
So fuck them.
Yeah, you're right. I should be.
You're never gonna get
more
everyone to
proud
like
about
them.
promoting all these stuff because I really am. All this stuff is like I'm really proud of all this stuff. The new single "You Do You," the other single "Iowa Moon," the fucking tour, the band's killing it, the podcast is killing it. I mean, I should be. I just feel like I'm a promotion whore sometimes.
Yeah, it's part of it. I don't know. I don't have any advice there. Just gotta. I don't think it's too much. I think you have to do it this
The music industry's fucked up. Dude.
When you promote stuff, it does make it look like you care more too.
I do. Yeah, exactly. I feel like I don't want to like. I feel like I'm boasting.
It's the biggest issue I think with like the sort of jazz kind of guys. They're scared to promote themselves. It's like sort of like weird in that scene. You know what I mean? It's almost like you're like sort of. I don't know. You know the vibe, like the sort of artsy people that don't really promote themselves because they think it's sort of like embarrassing.
Speaking of that, dialed in gummies. You want to hear fucking money worth spent dialed in gummies?
I use dialed in
goddamn
gummies. I
best
actually use them
gummies.
to shave my pubes.
Yeah, I eat them. you just take a dialed in.
I just take the tin and I go.
The plastic because it's plastic now.
But it's still sharp. Anyway, dialed in gummies, the best gummies on earth, and I'm not saying that because they give me money, but I kind of am, but I'm not because they are good.
They're great.
They're actually great, and they taste better than any other gummy. That's the hardest thing for me is I can't stop eating them, and I forget there's drugs inside of them.
Yeah, see, I did that
I
once.
love delicious candies.
Yeah, you love candy.
Candy's good for you.
I think about that. I think about that a lot. When there's one guy who did that little thing you do, like yum yum, little sweet treats.
Oh yeah, you sent me that. Little
That was
sweet treats
so
are good
cute.
for your soul.
Yeah, they are.
It's kind of my booze.
They give me acid reflux.
I don't drink
treats.
at home, but I like to have a couple treats. Hence the body.
I love kid food so much. Like I just some Airbnb left some Dino chicken nuggets.
Bro, that's how
the frozen.
That's how Americans should be eating. I'm so
It
sick of
was
these.
so good. I love those Dino
So
chicken
sick
nuggets.
of these people with their restaurants and their artsy food. You know what I mean?
Like I'm not trying to eat like a piece of lettuce just to be healthy. Why can't we make Dino chicken nuggets healthy, you know?
Like, how many years are Dino Nuggets going to cut off my life? 2?
Yeah.
What,
Exactly.
So I'm not going to be 82?
That's another campaign I'm going to have. As Indiana, every school will have the option. Every
Tyson.
elementary school will have the option. If they don't want to have the chalupa, remember the chalupa?
Yeah, Taco Bell?
No, the chalupa when in public schools.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you have that? It was like kind
Yeah.
of like a taco shell with like
Yeah.
shitty meat and some cheese.
Yeah, we had all the same.
And the taco, we had the same.
Yeah. I think
No,
everybody.
you went to private school. I found out you went to a rich school.
So did Bayless.
True.
But not everyone that goes there is rich. It's like 30.
Bayless went to that school?
He went to like the same school in a different town. Remember, we were like rivals.
Oh.
So here's the thing with that school is like, yes, there are rich kids there. There's also like poor kids that are just Catholic. There's also those people that want to go to like a good school.
Sometimes
It's a
when I'm sad,
academically good school. It was a really good. Like my first 2 years of college were fucking easy as shit compared to my high school. It was like that.
I do love smart people. Ken Jennings, like look at that dude. Brilliant.
I wonder what his high school. But sometimes those trivia guys aren't good at school though. It's weird. But I assume
he
was.
said he was good. He was in the debate
yeah,
team.
Yeah. I know.
He was
That's what I'm
killing
saying.
it.
He's got it both. He's got like the type A and the left brain,
Yeah.
right brain, left brain. You know what I mean?
I wonder if he was taking dialed in gummies, he'd be smarter.
Probably about the same. I think he's so smart. Anyway, they're homogenous. They're clean.
They're clean.
They're made with just like there's no solvents in them.
Right.
If you don't, it's a great word.
That's
It's
a smart
person
word.
Get your chemistry book out.
This episode's about being smart.
Solvents.
Solvents.
They're homogenized, so they're equally spread.
Keep using big words for this.
Homogenized, just like they're just homogenized, so they're equally spread, just like toast on a perfect, or butter on a perfect piece of toast.
Yeah, serotoninous.
Serotoninous is not a word, and also if it was a word, you were thinking of tonin, and that doesn't even apply to this.
Yes, you get great serotonin. You get
You know
your
what's funny?
serotonin
You probably
back.
got better grades than me in high school. I guarantee you got better grades than me.
I had a 3.6.
See, I had like a 3. I fucked off so hard. I was that kid that like, I would sit in a class for an hour and not hear one word the teacher said. I'd just be daydreaming.
Really?
I daydreamed all day. ADD.
Well, I was close with my teachers
This
because
was the 90s.
I'd be working in my teachers' offices, so they gave me A's.
Plus, you were hot, and they just like the hot guys.
Well, yeah, I think because I was talked to them, I'd go hang out with them. So I didn't really do a
all my
lot of
teachers-
homework, and they just passed me.
My teachers didn't really like me that much.
But I did get into like Indiana, and I got into
Which is hard out of state.
Boulder, Colorado. I almost went to Colorado.
That's good. You got good grades then. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have got into any of those schools because I would just like, I don't know. I just didn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
It happens. I don't want to be one of those. I hate those people though. They're like, I was super smart. I just didn't try. It sounds so lame. to say that.
Pretentious.
Yeah, but it's kind of true.
I kind of feel that way about some of these musicians. They're all like, some of these like bitter musicians who are really good, and they just talk shit about success. And I'm like, you're not working hard enough.
Yeah, I hate that. Actually, that's one thing I try to really avoid doing.
Yeah.
You'll never hear me like talk shit about a band. Like
Who works hard?
No, but I mean, I'll make fun of their music a little bit, but I won't question like their work ethic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm
I'm not mad they're successful, but that doesn't mean I can't like think their music sucks, right?
Yeah. Like,
That's fair.
I don't get how people dog on work ethic.
That's because they're like, what they're doing there is they're just embarrassed by their own work ethic, so they're lashing out. It's just
Right.
like how people don't like the pretty girl, like the homecoming queen, you know?
Oh, yeah. And I heard this thing like,
It's hard to be hot in this society. I mean, you get everything, but everybody hates you. You know?
yeah. I heard like hot people are the loneliest because they're just so hot. And
That makes sense.
And they're like the super, super hot. People are intimidated to talk to these beautiful people.
People are hot phobic.
I like that word. Indianapolis, Mayor, we're gonna change hot phobia.
Yeah, there'll be no more hot phobia in Indianapolis.
If you're hot in Indianapolis, we will fucking support you. We will rave about you.
Set up a meeting with my office. Come on in. I'll meet with any hot person first. I'm not hot phobic. Attractiveness is a good model to judge people by.
Okay. Well,
If you're rich and you're ugly, come on in.
bring it on. I got 10 years to learn about Indianapolis.
Oh, you only need about 6 months. Rubbin's racing. You got to learn about auto racing.
Right?
Dowding gummies. I think they've got like 3 mentions now. So
Yeah, so shout out.
they're the best. I'm
They
gonna go
are.
get some samples tomorrow and a little Chucky check.
Ooh, we're gonna make some. Daddy's gonna bring the check home. We gotta do celebration. Like, I should get you a bell, so
I
like,
want
you would
them
just like
to-
ring the bell when you get to the house. Like, money's here.
Like
money's
an Arby's,
here.
like an Arby's.
Yeah.
Ring the bell if you got good service. Money's here, Andy. Ding, 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 ding,
Yes,
ding,
come
ding,
up to the podcast arena so we could come and cash that check of ours. Shout out to another check we're getting. Volume.com.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. We love volume.com as well.
/creator become a I feel like people
We need more people to become creators on volume.com.
goes back to work ethic.
Yeah.
It's like these trivia videos I've been making.
Yeah.
I don't really is anybody seeing them? They got a couple hundred views, but you never know, dude. You got to make shit. You got to put it out there. It's about having assets, create assets.
Yeah.
Even if they don't work, it's very cheap and very almost free to get on there. You know what I mean? It's free to get on the platform. You might have to spend a little money making
You want people to skim through the fat of YouTube and have to go through a billion fucking videos just to
No.
get yours? Or do you want to go through volume.com
Right.
and have all the top quality shit? Because they have all the top quality live streams. They have our podcast. If you want to see our face, look, Nick, you look great. Did you trim your beard?
Oh, the other day, yeah.
It looks
shaved
awesome.
my head too.
You look great.
I shaved my head.
Do you want to see Nick looking hot? Go on volume.com. You want to see me looking raggedy as fuck?
Not bad for a guy in his 40s, you know?
I try to shave my beard and I'm just patchy.
I mean, I look good for a guy in his 40s.
You look hot.
For a guy in his 40s.
What about me? I'm 35.
Yeah, you're all right.
That's what I'm talking about. You want a guy who loves everyone? Vote for Frasco.
Or do you want an honest guy who gives it to you straight? You know what I mean?
No, shut the fuck up. Jesus.
That's good.
That's pretty good, though.
Okay,
I got it.
volume.com.
Yeah, volume.com.
First of all, everything looks good on there. Their tech team's great. They have it's like you're getting the professionalism of a massive streaming platform, but
Right.
it's like mom and pop still. So but it's going to be that big because that's how good it is.
Right.
So get in now.
Yeah.
You
It's
need
gonna
more-
blow up, people. Do you want to be late to the party, or do you want to get there when shit's about to go down?
You need more digital assets online. They are evergreen.
Yes.
God, why don't you guys?
I don't get why
instead of
people
bitching
don't
about-
understand. Yeah, they don't. They
Instead of
bitch.
complaining about other bands being successful, why don't you just try? That way, when you fail, you can at least know you did everything.
God, this is awesome.
Like Cosby Sweater, I have no regrets with that failing because I know I put everything I could into it and
Right.
it just didn't work out. That happens a lot in the music industry. What I don't like is all these half-ass guys who mostly still live in Indianapolis and never
Right.
left, who act like they tried their whole 20s and now like the music industry sucks. It's like you didn't even leave your hometown.
What do you want to do, America? You want to be in your 50s or 60s and realize that, I could have been on volume.com? Or do you
Damn
want to
it.
get your fucking, while you're in your prime, get your ass out there and get signed up to volume.com?
Yes. Stop complaining.
Yeah, stop complaining.
Unless you really tried.
But we complain every week.
Well, we're getting paid. We got to
Okay.
fill out that. We got to do something around the ads.
Yeah, you're right. Ken Jennings, ladies and gentlemen.
Kenneth Jennings.
A man who doesn't complain. He's been
I wouldn't complain either
studying
if I was him. He knows
Oh my
everything.
God. I thought the craziest part of our interview with Ken Jennings. So if you guys don't know who Ken Jennings is, Ken Jennings won Jeopardy 76 times.
Let me do it.
All right.
Ken Jennings won. He won Jeopardy. He is okay. So until 2004, you could only win Jeopardy 5 times consecutively, and then you're out. Then they changed it in 2001, I think, and he came in 2004 and won 74 consecutive.
Holy shit.
From June through November 30th, he won. He sets a lot of records that still stand. One of those being most correct answers per game. So
Right.
like he got 35.4 correct. The person who was second at that time wasn't even above 30.
Wow.
That's insane because he held that average for 74 games. The other people were only doing it for 5. He's like the winningest game show host and game show contestant in American history across all the game shows he's been on because he's
Right.
done other stuff like promotionally. He won the GOAT tournament. Like literally had a greatest of all time Jeopardy tournament. Him, James, his enemy who we talk about in the interview. You'll learn more about him, James Holzhauer. And this guy, Brad Rutter, had a 3-way match, 4 matches. He won 3 out of 4. Brad won 0. And Holzhauer won 1. So he's the GOAT. He has
Yeah.
a trophy that says he is the greatest of all time. And he's so good that he's now one of the hosts
Let's fucking
with
go.
Mayim Bialik, who she does
Look
a
at
good
our
job
show.
too. I'll say she does a great job as a host too.
Really?
Yeah, she's a little more like an actress than him, but she has like a degree in neuroscience from Harvard or something.
Aren't you proud of us?
I'm proud of us.
From jam bands, from small jam bands when we started the show,
Yep.
to now the host of fucking Jeopardy. We are going global.
How did you do this without a co-host so long?
Shut the fuck
I'm
up.
serious.
What?
I'm serious. It's hard.
Anyway, we're going to have a great week. We're done here.
Volume.com,
Volume.com,
Dialed In Gummies.
Dialed In Gummies. Ken fucking Jennings.
Ken. I don't think that's his real middle name, but is it?
Remember when I said that? I'm like, holy shit, this is Ken fucking
Right
Jennings.
off the top,
He's
I
like,
was like, God damn it.
He's
on Disney.
I know I fucked that up. But you're going to love this interview. We talk about Jeopardy groupies. We talk about...
He's on the same network as iCarly.
Yeah, we talk about him being smart, him being rich, him hiding his richness because no one could... Because he won. And
dude, that's impossible.
How hard... If he had a kid...
No, but I like how they do that. They don't give you the money till after the show airs. So, like, if you fuck it up, you don't get your money.
Ooh, tight.
That'd be... There's no fucking way.
No way I can
I could do it.
that.
There's no way you could do it.
No way.
I know for a fact you wouldn't be able to tell someone.
I tell people I have record deals before I sign the contract.
Dude, there's been people come up to me saying, like, I heard you got this amount from Volume. I'm like, what? It's like way more, you know what I mean? Because I know how you are. You're just like, oh, we might get this, you know.
We might get this and we end up not getting that. It's like a third of that.
But it's still good. I'm not complaining, but it's just like making fun of Andy because he gets delusions of grandeur. Predictions.
Well, I get excited.
I get it. It's
my
good.
brain tells me, like, this is how much you're worth. So
you get predictions of grandeur, not delusions of grandeur.
Yep. So we're going to have a great week. Keep pumping yourself up. If you feel like you're worth big money, you deserve
ask for the money.
Big money. Ask for the fucking money.
Ask for more. Because
if you want more out of your partner, ask for it. You got to ask. If you don't ask for shit, you're never going to get it.
The higher you ask, the higher their counter offer is going to be.
Yeah. Ooh, hot.
I think I would be a great negotiator. I would love to get into a...
That's good to know.
I would love to get into a job or something.
I'm just going to start being ridiculous with my offers for my festivals.
Yes. Ask for,
Bonjour's going to kill me.
No, but ask for, like, and then you'll get every time.
That'd be tight.
They don't know. You sell a lot of tickets.
I know. But no, it's all metric.
I know.
Venues you sell and how much tickets. It's all fucking...
They have math people that figure out how much you're worth.
Yeah.
But I do think that asking...
But you're worth as much as you think you are. So go out there and follow those dreams.
You're worth 50, 60K a year. Get a nice little house in Milwaukee. Raise a couple kids. Not a bad life.
What's up, Denny's?
What's... Dude, that guy... You love that guy.
I love that guy. I bought that shirt off of...
I started a blog.
Shithead Steve. It says sup, Denny's.
I started a blog where I didn't finish it about Denny's, how they should all switch into being music venues and only have metal bands after 9 p.m.
Oh, hell yeah.
Be a good rebrand, I think, for them.
Yeah.
That's who hangs out there anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, 4 a.m. I always see metalheads in there.
It's just people smoking cigarettes and having shitty coffee.
Yeah.
I used to do it.
I used to do it too.
All
right. Goodbye. Enjoy Ken Jennings.
Thanks.
Wow. The Michael Jordan of trivia. Ken Jennings. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, thanks for having me.
What's going on in your world? How's it feel?
Pretty good. Jeopardy's wrapped for the summer, so my day job is over. Got to book out. It's getting nice in Seattle for a change. It's been a long, rainy spring, so we always look forward to the month and a half of nice weather.
Is it hard for you to just sit around and do nothing?
I actually am kind of a restless soul, which I guess Buddha would say is not a sign of virtue, right? Like I should just be happy in the moment, right? But instead, I'm very much like, boy, what did I do today? What have I gotten done? Like even if I'm doing something dumb, like watching a movie or binging a show, I do feel like I should be accomplishing something. Like, okay, what's the next show we're watching? Let's knock out 3 episodes tonight. That was productive.
Yeah, like when you're making you're the host of Jeopardy now. But before we talk about being the host, what strives you to keep learning?
I don't think it's a choice. It's probably a compulsion, like maybe an unhealthy one. I mean, I do feel like it's defensible. Like you do become a more interesting person. It's easier to get to know people when you know something in common with them. Like it really does pay off in life to be a curious person, a lifelong learner. But I can't say I chose it because I'm a good person. I just have always been that way. I was like the little kid carrying around the Guinness Book of World Records being like, hey mom. Like, do you know what the biggest omelet ever made was? Do you know how big it was? Like some kids are just like that,
Yeah.
What was the first moment where your parents said, damn, this motherfucker's smart?
I don't think they said that to me. Actually, they were very careful. Like they had me tested once to see if I could get into like the smart kid kindergarten. and they never told me what the results were. Like they didn't want me to have like either a big head or like a wounded ego, I guess, just from having a number.
Right.
So I think they didn't want me to be a quintessential gifted kid, which is good because those kids can be insufferable, right?
Yeah.
And they burn out sometimes too.
That's what I was always wondering. Like,
true.
is like winning Jeopardy that much? Do you have like Jeopardy groupies that always just want, like, just like are obsessed with the show, write you letters? Like, we're in bands, so like we have different side of the groupie situation. But for Jeopardy, you know, what was that like? You know, just like it felt like you're on tour. You were living there.
It's exactly the same. Just you got to get all the naked women out of your hotel room every night. No, I mean, there is a groupie situation on Jeopardy, but all the women are maybe 75 and up. So
they all have double ARP cards.
Yeah, double ARP.
Yeah, they're a lot easier to outrun. And if you go to Denny's after 7, you won't see any of them.
So I got a lot of questions for you. I want to start earlier in your life. Were you raised Mormon? Did you go to BYU because you were a Mormon?
Yeah, my family's Mormon, like back to the pioneers. Like we're as Mormon as you get.
Yeah. Oh, no shit. So are you still Mormon?
Yeah. I mean, I host Jeopardy during the week and I teach Sunday school on weekends. And, you know, it doesn't mean I'm not critical about religion in general or particular things about my faith tradition, but it's really made me a better person in my life. And I feel like I have to grapple with that. You know, like I'm the kind of person who needs a little bit of like nudging to not be a dick. Yeah. And it turns out the Christian gospel is pretty good for that.
Yeah,
so
I'll clap to that. Let's go. I'll clap to that.
Good job.
I'm Jewish and I'll clap to that, bud.
There's a good overarching message, you know?
No, but it's fascinating. Like, so you went to BYU. What was it like? Were you a social butterfly or were you just always studying?
No, I feel like in college, you know, they say in college you find your people, and weirdly, I had to go to like Provo, Utah, where I did not think my people would be. Right. But weirdly, like my first week on campus, I saw a flyer for Quiz Bowl tryouts,
right? And
I was like, oh, like I love game shows. I'm going to go do this. Maybe I can get on the team. And like those turned out to be my college friends for the next 3 or 4 years. We'd kind of crisscross the Western U.S. in a van playing Quiz Bowl tournaments in dark campus buildings after hours. And it's a weird little subculture, but
was it competitive?
Honestly, you play against Stanford or Berkeley or whatever. And we were good. We weren't great, but we were pretty good. And I started to see people from that world like show up on game shows. I'd be watching Win Ben Stein's Money and I'd be like, oh, wow, that's Richard. Like, I totally know that guy.
It's a whole scene.
And I almost think that was the moment where I was like, you can try out for these shows. Like, these people don't just come out of nowhere like clones. Right. Like, if you want to be on a game show, like you could try out.
Yeah, my friend is on a bunch of game shows, like 5 or 6 of them. Like, not the smart one, but they have like she has a game show agent. Did you have a game show agent as Jeopardy or what?
What? Like she's a contestant, but they just get her auditions to go on different game shows?
They're on like she's on all these like, teasers.
The Cube or whatever.
Yeah, the Cube, Floor's Lava.
You're the ones where you just like run around and try not to hurt yourself, like those.
Yeah. So you're doing you're touring the Quiz Bowl. What tournament do you remember the most of? Like you either lost or you should have won or you weren't prepared. What makes you, what do you I feel like you're a pretty competitive dude. What, you lose sleep over these Quiz Bowl ones?
Yeah, you always lose sleep over the ones you lose, honestly. Yeah. Like I read in John McCain's obituary, like that guy, no matter what he had done for the rest of his life, national decorated hero.
Yeah.
He was still mad about the time he was on the Art Fleming Jeopardy in 1972 and he didn't know what is Ecuador, like.
I gotta look that up on YouTube.
And it's like that. Like the you never forget the one that had your name on it.
Yeah.
Like in Quiz Bowl, I remember there was one tournament we won against like a pretty good team, like Caltech or something, and we were high-fiving because we rarely were the best team. But like then we played like kind of a separate pop culture tournament after, and we almost beat them again. But I didn't remember the name of this obscure 80s Parker Stevenson TV show called Probe.
Wow.
And like as a kid, I loved this failed TV show, Probe, and I couldn't think of it in the moment. And to this day, like when I see Parker Stevenson's face, which doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
I'm still back in my post-traumatic moment there.
What's the difference between studying for a Quiz Bowl versus studying for Jeopardy?
I mean, Quiz Bowl is like deeper and more academic. You know, the idea is like you actually know this obscure king of the Franks or of Tuscany or whatever. Whereas Jeopardy, like the show only works if the folks get it right. Like nothing's worse on Jeopardy than 3 people just standing there slack jawed, like, looking at the camera.
Yeah.
Right. So like the secret of Jeopardy is all the clues are written for them to get it right. Like there's little nudges and helps and hints. It's actually nicer than Quiz Bowl.
What did you learn as being the host? Like, have you learned the game better being the host now, or is it you always knew all these things, all these tricks? We rewatched some of your highlight reels. It felt like ESPN. We were rewatching all your stuff this morning, and like it's a puzzle, right?
It is, and it's also there's a bit of like psychoanalysis. Like you're actually trying to read the mind of the person who wrote the clue.
Right.
Yeah. You're like it's not. You know, this thing didn't come down on stone tablets. It wasn't written by ChatGPT. Like it's a text. A series of creative decisions went into this clue. How can I figure out what the guy was thinking, what the writer was thinking, and will that get me to the right answer?
It's like reverse engineering almost, or something in real time.
Yeah, exactly. Like think like the writer. Like why is it like this, and what does that mean? The answer is. And, you know, for whatever reason, I did okay under that pressure. Like it's an insane crucible being a Jeopardy contestant. You know, you're not running around like floor is lava, but like it's very intense. And I see people I see hands shaking and I see panic attacks.
That's like
it's intense.
That's what I was thinking. Like, what's the green room like before because you do like 5 of them.
Yeah.
Don't you do like 5 of them in a day?
Yeah.
So like you just keep winning. You're just like you're on a tear. You're like Wolf of Wall Street. You know, McConaughey and Wolf of Wall Street is pounding his chest. I see you, Ken. And then I bet everyone's fucking scared shitless of you, dude.
I mean, in general, there's a contestant staff there that's like trying to make everybody forget the competitive angle, like trying to make you forget that it's a 0-sum game and you should all be like friends and you're in this together. And it works pretty well because generally our contestants feel like they found their people and like they'll stay on the group text or the group chat for years with the people who beat them on Jeopardy or whatever. But I do remember I was not the most popular person in that.
You know? Are there any people that go in like
survivor's guilt?
Are there people that go in like trying to psych out other contestants before the game? Is that ever a strategy?
It happens. It's pretty rare. Like that's the occasional person who's got that kind of swagger. Because like exactly. Being good at Jeopardy is a very different personality type, I think, than being like a college basketball star. You know, a lot of these people tend to be too friendly and shy and retiring. Sure. So occasionally somebody will try to, you know, talk some smack, but it's not really the right thing.
They probably end up losing a lot.
Generally, it's pretty collegial.
Yeah. So do you wait till you win to talk that shit back, Ken, or do you just?
It's like I got $4 million in winnings. So
suck it.
Yeah. After the game, I'm like, oh yeah, you're great. You thought your grandma would want to see you on Jeopardy. You think she wants to see that? You think she wants to see what you just did?
She's getting old. This is probably the last thing she ever sees you do.
No, in general, I found that the people who were friendly before the game were even less chatty after. You know?
Yeah. Right.
It's not fun to get spanked on Jeopardy, and I felt bad because I was like them. You know, we all had the same dream. Like this is our favorite show, and this is our one chance to actually try our hand at it. And then they show up, and it's some guy who's been there for 48 shows. You know, that's not cool.
Right.
And you're so comfortable, you know.
Like you had 48 shows to talk with Alex Trebek. What did he teach you about life?
You know, watching him up close, I was mostly just impressed by what an amazing broadcaster he is.
Exactly.
You know, like nothing ever fazed that guy. The show, he always could do the show in exactly half an hour with hardly ever a retake.
Wow.
He was just perfect for that job. It kind of grew up around him and made him what he was and vice versa. And so like now that I have to host, it's really the worst because he was so graceful and perfect for it. And I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna, you can't replace that guy. He's irreplaceable.
Yeah. That's like, what was your psyche like when you're doing your auditions and stuff? Like this guy's the GOAT at this. Like, how'd you prepare yourself to say, I could do this as well?
I mean, it almost felt like sacrilege. You know, I didn't want to see anybody but Alex hosting Jeopardy.
Right.
Like I didn't want to be there either, you know, but it was really more like, you know, next man up, you know, some left tackle, you know, breaks a bone and then suddenly somebody's coming off the bench, or it's just like, you know, new guy in Nom, you know, and I didn't really have a choice. Like let me try to stay afloat here, but this is not what I want to be doing. It's a very hard hosting gig.
Right. And like, were you pissed that like dudes like who's the quarterback? Oh, Aaron Rodgers. You're competing against Aaron Rodgers and you're way more qualified than Aaron Rodgers. Was it kind of like competition? Because that feels pretty competitive, you know?
He is
I thought he was pretty good. My wife was like, "Oh, he's so good at it." And when you drill down, it was clear that what she meant was, "Oh, he's very handsome." Yeah. And,
it's okay, Ken. We think you're hot.
Yeah.
I think Brains is hot, Ken.
I'm not Aaron Rodgers hot. Let's be honest. Yeah, it was. It kind of did turn into a and that was the downside. Like the upside of doing that whole guest hosting thing is people saw a bunch of different approaches, and the viewers could kind of let go of this idea that it can only be Alex. But the downside is it created the illusion that it was like a reality show, like a talent contest or something.
Right.
Made it seem easier.
All these people were kind of head to head, and you should pick your favorites and vote. And, it turned into American Idol.
Yeah. What's the pro? Like now you're dealing with like, contestants in the competition thing is different than pros trying to get a gig for a hosting gig. Was that a little more competitive than the contestants on Jeopardy?
I never saw any of the other hosts.
Oh,
I was there when I was doing it, but I didn't see any of the rest. I was just kind of sitting at home here in Seattle wondering, how is this going to wrap up? And I for years, I'd been telling people, there's no way I'm going to get this job. I'm not a broadcaster. Right. I know the game, but that's not what you need. But it turned out you can go both ways. You can take a performer like Mayim Bialik and teach her how to play Jeopardy, or you could take somebody who plays Jeopardy and try to teach them how to be a TV host, and it kind of works out. Like it meets in the middle.
Who gave you the call? Like say, hey, Alex, he's not feeling too well. It's not looking too good. We're looking for hosts. What was that conversation like? Were you like, I'm not doing this? Or is it, like you said, next man up? You had that mentality.
I mean, it was already, I was already a consultant on the show. I kind of had this BS producer credit. And so when the producer called and said, hey, if Alex's health doesn't get better, we might need you to fill in. And at that point it was like, okay, but if he feels better that morning, like it should be him. But if this is what Alex needs, okay, like anything for that guy, like he's the best. And as it turned out, like the day I was supposed to go into rehearse, that was the morning that I found out Alex had passed away. Wow. Suddenly it got serious very quick. And I had talked to him the night before. I'd done a brief call with him, and he was still Alex, even though his voice was a little bit weaker than the last time I talked to him. And we talked about Jeopardy, and he kind of, he was clear that he was still very engaged in the show, and he wanted to talk about James Holzhauer and he was like, to me, it's like Steffi Graf and Martina Navratil. He had this whole metaphor about how Jeopardy contestants were like tennis play. He loved that show, and it was nice to talk to him. But 24 hours later, he was gone. That's
so weird because, like, I believe in that. Where like some work keeps people alive. If you didn't have Jeopardy, do you think if you have nothing to live for? Like he loved that show ever since the end of his career. Like, what were those last couple conversations like with him when he knew he was dying? Was he pretty like he kept it all in the chest, or were you guys starting to get vulnerable as he was getting sicker?
He was. I went to the last show of the season that we thought might be his last season of taping. As it turned out, he did some more shows, but like we kind of thought maybe he's going to hang it up over the summer. Right. And he was not feeling great. He was doing chemo and radiation at various times. And so, he'd be in a lot of discomfort backstage. But then as soon as the announcer said his name, he could just walk out there and be Alex Trebek. You're exactly right. Like that was the job that made him feel like he was still him and healthy and, in an environment that he had some control over and he was good at. And and that was nice to see. And he had also just gotten this amazing outpouring of mail from, he's got 100,000 letters and emails of people telling him what he meant in their evening and to their family and in their homes. And, he was visibly moved. He was in touch with his emotions for an 81-year-old Canadian man. He was like, he was like, Ken, most people don't get to hear this stuff till after they die. This stuff's in the eulogy, but I'm still here and I get to hear it. And he was very moved by that. And I gave him a hug, which I don't know if that is his thing, but you're
like, come here, big guy.
It is now.
Bring it in. He meant a lot to me. And, and it's still, I still hear his voice every time I'm doing the Jeopardy thing. Luckily I can still hear him doing it.
The rhythm,
think, how would Alex say it?
Yeah. In your brain, he's like, Ken, you fucked up the pause on that.
Do you think he would have been a great
exactly
contestant?
what it is.
Do you think he would have been a great contestant if he played in the game? Like, was he?
I almost think the reason why he's so good at hosting that show is because he was playing along. Like, he literally knew that stuff.
Okay.
You know, every time he would be like, "Oh no, you're thinking of Henry VII. This is Henry VI."
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, he is reading off a sheet, but also like he's not faking. Like, he does know that stuff.
Yeah, you can't improv that kind of stuff. Like the best wrong answer without knowing what the right answer would have been. Yeah.
Having all the answers in your hand, does that make you feel dumber or smarter?
No, it's so nice because, like I say, it's scary to be up there as a contestant. And you don't know what's coming next. Like, the next clue could be anything, and you could look like an idiot. You could lose the price of your car on a daily double. Anything could happen, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, there is a lot more, even though the host is doing more than the contestants are, and there's a lot to keep in your head, you know, at least you know you have all the answers, and it's a little more job security than those folks do.
Right. And like, especially like, you know, you're talking about the perfectionist that Trebek was. How hard was it to like do these one take shows, or did you have to, like, in the beginning years where you had to take a couple takes on it because you're nervous and stuff? Do you remember one show where you totally botched it?
Yeah, there was, I mean, even Alex never had teleprompter ever. And so I feel like that's the way to do it. Like, just kind of go out there and talk about the game and be yourself. And like, that's kind of what I strive for. But sometimes it means, you know, getting marble mouth or getting tongue tied.
Yeah.
Like during Masters, you know, James Holtzauer, great Jeopardy player, he's from Las Vegas. And I kept introducing him as from Los Angeles. And I did it like 3 times. And James is like, you know, I can't believe I lost to this idiot. You know, like, James is not, he's not enjoying this, but I kept getting it wrong. And always, as you say, I'm always thinking, well, Alex would have never done that. I never saw Alex do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty wild to me because, you know, it's pretty intimidating game, especially like, you know, if you get in your head and you're doing what? How many do you do a day? Like, is it a 2-month thing? You do it for 2 months and then you do like 4 or 5 shows a day, or is it like kind of like a union hour gig or Jeopardy?
A week is a day. So we do 5 shows in a day, generally in 2-day chunks. Like, I'll fly down to LA for 2 days. I'll do 10 Jeopardies and fly home. And that's pretty intense for the players too.
That's a lot. Yeah.
So when you were on what you did, 48 shows? How many shows did
74,
you do?
right?
74?
74.
What was your relationship like with your wife when you're... I'm so curious about that because you're living in the studio in LA. Where was your wife living at the time? Was she living with you?
You know, we would come and go. Like, I'd fly down. We were living in, I was working in Salt Lake City at the time. So I'd fly down for 48 hours, do 10 shows as it turned out, like, never knowing, but as it turned out, winning 10 shows and some kind of nutty amount of money.
Yeah.
And then the shows weren't going to air for months. So I'd have to fly home and not tell anybody where I'd been,
Seems
you know,
impossible.
go to the morning meeting at work as if I cared, you know, like, I kind of had to have this double life. My wife, of course, knew. She had been in the crowd, and she sometimes came down to watch, but, you know, it was just this time bomb that was going to go off when the shows aired in a few months, but we didn't know what that was going to be like.
Did you tell the Mormon church before it aired so they didn't take your money before they saw the television show?
No tithing.
I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Like, my parents didn't
hard
know.
is
My
that?
coworker, like, my boss was covering for me at work, so my coworkers didn't know.
Wow.
How do you
my wife would come down, but you know, she would, I remember Alex razzing her because she'd be doing a crossword puzzle in the crowd. And Alex would be like, "Oh, Mindy, are we boring you? Have you already seen too many? Has your husband won on Jeopardy so many times you do crosswords now?" And her answer was like, "No, I'm keeping my head down because, like, the other relatives don't like me, you know, like nobody wants to sit by that guy's wife."
Right.
And she's just like, yeah, he's going to get this one too.
Yeah.
It's like pork. That's awesome. So what was so
Keeping the secret. How do you do that?
Keeping a secret of that much money, I would quit my job. I would have bought an ice cream truck. You know, I would have got all this stuff.
Sure, we all would.
No, so what was that? How long did it take until it aired? And so how long did you have to keep the secret for?
I mean, I kept the secret for 3 months, but then, like, at the time the shows air, I'm still taping new shows. So people are showing up backstage on Jeopardy and they're like, "Oh, this guy. This guy." You know, because they're already seeing me on TV. Jeopardy doesn't pay you until after your shows have aired. So, they don't want anybody to ruin the secret by
that's
buying a new house or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Ken Jennings buys a 17-bedroom house in Salt Lake City.
Also, if you tell, you probably don't get the money. Take it away.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I mean, the thing I was terrified of is like, we're actually pretty happy. Like, we had just bought this little brick starter home outside Salt Lake. Like, my son had been born and he was like 1. Like, I had a day job. Like, things were okay. And I was like, this cannot be the thing that blows up my life. Like, I do not want to ruin my life by suddenly being Jeopardy millionaire guy.
Yeah.
So we were terrified. Like, let's not spend the money. Like, I drove the same Toyota Corolla for another 10 years just because it was running just fine.
Oh
and
I like that.
I love that.
I guess that's the thrifty Mormon pioneer heritage. Like,
hey, you don't get rich.
It's not just that money is like. Not just that money is evil, but like maybe it's a little like unseemly, to be spending all that money. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, think about if your kid was like 8 or 9, and like kids just talk. Like, Dad was on. It was like perfect. It was a perfect wave of not knowing. Like, he's 1. He's not gonna say shit.
Yeah. I gotta be honest. I can't see you driving a Ferrari. I don't think it's a good fit. Like.
Like the guy who directs Jeopardy has a pretty nice Bentley. He's British, and he happens to park it right where the studio audience lines up. So every day I take questions from the studio audience, and every day they're like, "Is that your Bentley? Like, what kind of Bentley is that?" And I'm like, "No,
no,
I'm in a rental Toyota. That's not my Bentley."
I'm hoping to get reimbursed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm keeping receipts.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a write-off.
So when these episodes started airing, you're in Utah. I've played in Salt Lake City a lot. It's like it's small enough town where they find out Ken Jennings is winning this thing. Who started becoming your friend first?
Yeah.
Who, like, out of the woodwork? Your cousin? Like, you're like, this guy's making a shit ton of money. I'm gonna try to get some dough.
Yeah, did you get an entourage all of a sudden?
Jennings has like 5 people in his crew now.
Yeah. He's got drivers.
Umbrella guy.
He has a Toyota Corolla, but he has a driver.
There was actually none of it. Like, it was actually really cool. It was like, these were the days right before like social media took off. Yeah. So like, I did not know where all my friends from first grade were.
Oh, right.
But like, you go on TV for 6 months and like people pop up and they're like, "Hey, you don't remember me, but I'm Matt. We used to play together after school." And like, so people would reach out, but it would be like amazing. It would be like some kind of this is your life moment. And nobody was creepy. Actually, it was kind of faith affirming that like the people were awesome.
Yeah. Did you ever did you ever go through depression after like people maybe forgot about you after 10 years or something? Like, did you ever go through like the post-depression? Is there a depression years of Ken Jennings? Like, what was going on?
No, that was actually my dream. Like it always seemed unsustainable. Like, you can't be famous just for winning on a game show for 6 months. So I'm like, when does this go back to normal? You know, and it never really did, but like it felt more normal when it was not a big fame cycle. You know, that's kind of what I missed.
Yeah. That's crazy. And, you know, I think about your heel, James. Yeah. You know, I think about that guy. Is it a real heel? Do you guys really not like each other? Do you guys hate each other? Or is it all fake?
That's all kayfabe. I mean, is he going to be mad if I say that? Like,
no, I think you should keep it up.
We got to keep the beef going. It's like Biggie and Tupac.
Okay,
WWF.
Yeah, like James Holzhauer, like, you know, you're nothing. You know, I'm coming for you.
Yeah. I think favorite.
That's the thing. Like, I'm retired now. It's a weird wrestling gimmick where like the arch enemy became the referee. So what's he going to do about that?
Well, Ric Flair comes back every 5 years. So, you know, they could,
I do like that. He's like plays the heel. Then every time he does his little informational thing, it's some charity that he has. He has like a bunch of, it's like every time you talk to him between rounds, it's like another charity that he helps out with.
Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's genuinely kind of a different guy, but like, you know, you can tell when he talks about that stuff. He's sincere and he's lovely and he's a family man, and
he does like winning.
He just likes being the first ever wrestling heel on Jeopardy.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah, and also, you know, I think about that. Like, do you think he's like bitter that you got the job as the host?
I don't think so. Like, it's I mean, it's just such a crazy thing that an ex-player became the host anyway, right? It's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like, one of these children is going to get the golden ticket and they're going to keep the factory.
He stars in like another game show now, right? Where he's like the kind of like the guy they have to beat.
Yeah,
that's kind of his
chase
thing, right? Yeah. That's a British.
And I think he's very happy to be a contestant. Like that's he's still. I'm old. Like I am very happy to like bow out and not have to play that guy anymore because he would kick my ass. Like
Right.
I'm turning 50 next year, and it's a kind of a young person's game, the memory and everything. He's still at his peak, and more power to him.
Like, do you have to have like you have a photogenic memory? Is that how you learn all these, prepare for Jeopardy? You've always had a photogenic memory, or how?
No, from what I've read, from what I've read, that's not even a thing. Like maybe occasionally little kids can like look at a page of text and like the image will stay in their head. But I think for the most part, everybody's memory is the same. Like if we're interested in something, it sticks. And if we're bored without even trying, and if we're bored by something, there's no learning it. And I think maybe Jeopardy people are just more interested in more things. They're just omnivores. Like they don't specialize. They're not like, well, yeah, I like indie rock, but I don't like jazz. Or I like basketball, but I don't like hockey. Like these people are just like sponges for everything.
They like
you can trick yourself. Yeah, if you can trick yourself into being that kind of a curious person, I think the stuff just sticks in your brain.
Yeah. And, going back to hosting it, I'm a huge Howard Stern guy, and I felt like Howard Stern was on your side of you being the host of Jeopardy. Was the Howard bump help you with your way to get to Jeopardy? I think it did.
Was he saying that on the show? I don't think I knew that.
He was pitching you hard the whole time. He's like your number one guy. And like, the Howard bump I think it's pretty real. So I was like wondering if he ever messaged you saying, good luck out there, Ken, go kill him.
I'd been on the show before and it was great. It was a ton of fun. And, I love him as a broadcaster, but I had no idea that he had a horse in the Jeopardy race. Oh, that's probably why I got to send him a fruit basket.
Give him a fruit basket. I think he'd love that, actually. Let's talk about your book. Did you you wrote a book?
Oh, we got to talk about the book, Ken. Yeah, I've actually, that was the thing after Jeopardy.
I don't want to talk about the book if you don't want to talk about it.
No, I just appreciate you pretending the interest. Like, I love that.
I can't wait to read it personally.
I think you're super fascinating, Ken. I've been really looking forward to we've been looking forward to this interview for a while because it takes a lot to do what you did. And so tell me a little bit about the book.
Like I wanted to be a writer after Jeopardy. Like I kept my day job as a computer guy, but I wasn't happy doing that. And when I got the deal to write a book, I was like, this is the thing that I liked to do in school. I liked telling stories, and I liked library research, and I really like deep dives.
Right.
And so I've written a dozen books. The new one is actually the weirdest deep dive because it's different versions of the afterlife. It's called 100 Places to See After You Die. And the idea is, what if you had a travel guide to every possible afterlife, all the way from ancient Babylonia and Egypt up through Dante and Buddhism and everything up to the good place, up to Harry Potter and Tolkien and all the afterlives like that, the Klingon afterlife. And it's really kind of interesting, what it reveals, not just about how we think about death and religion, but also just about how pop culture has evolved. Because, Homer was the pop culture of his day, and so was Virgil, and so was Dante. Right. When these people were reading about the afterlife, it was basically like us watching The Good Place or that Albert Brooks movie about the afterlife or whatever.
Who do you think has a better imagination, Homer or this generation?
I feel like our afterlives are getting more prosaic and mundane as time goes on. Like I was watching a lot of old Twilight Zone episodes with angels and devils,
right? And
it's all like a bureaucracy. Like the angels always got like a clipboard, and he's like, "Oh no, you're 6 minutes late getting to heaven." Like that was the mid-century idea of heaven, was like a bunch of bureaucrats
at HR.
And today it's almost like, yeah, exactly. It's an HR department. And today it's even worse. Like today, all the heavens and hells are like kind of gig economies, like
just like real life.
Yeah,
it's basically San Francisco is the afterlife.
TV shows. There's TV shows like Miracle Workers and Dead Like Me. All these ideas. The afterlife is now. You have to imagine like an onboarding to your awful new DoorDash job or something.
Right.
And that's kind of where our culture is now.
Who are the writers that inspired you wanted to write like?
I mean, mostly I read fiction, but I write nonfiction. I kind of feel like if I'm reading a book for pleasure, like reading a book full of facts is too much like my job. Right. I just want to read a novel. But like when it comes to nonfiction, there was a book in the early 2000s called Word Freak about Scrabble players.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew nothing about that scene. I was not predisposed to be interested in it. But the thing I realized reading that book is the author goes into so much detail that it becomes interesting. It's like a paradox where it goes through boring back into interesting. And I was like, this is the secret, I think, is like you can do these nerdy deep dives and the reader can sense your obsession and like kind of glom onto it. And that's kind of what changed my approach to writing.
Do you think you love fiction, writing fiction so much because your job is about facts?
Yeah, I mean, when I read nonfiction, it's because I can relax. Like this is made up. And also, I have no gift for writing fiction. Like, so to me, it's like a magic trick. Like when I read a well-researched, organized nonfiction book, I'm like, yeah, I know how you would do this. Like maybe this guy's got a better prose style than I do. Maybe he's got access to sources that I wouldn't have. But I see how this would be done. But when I read like an amazing transporting work of fiction, it's like seeing a superhero. Like I don't even understand the brain that can do this, and I'm just in awe of it the whole time.
This is wild. Okay, because I've always wanted to write a book, and I've always wanted to just dive into something like that. It just seems like it's the most intimidating thing. How many months of it just writing down ideas and thoughts until you finally until your producer's like, all right, now we're getting somewhere, you know?
I mean, you're a songwriter. I feel like you already have the muscles. Like, it's almost, it's probably more of the same. It's a little bit different, but I feel like you have the muscles for it. And when I see somebody who can put together a song or a short story or a script or whatever it is, it's just beyond me. I can do a workman-like thing where I put in the work and I have an outline and I know how it makes sense and I know what the reader should be thinking at different points. But I kind of feel like ChatGPT simulating actual talent and inspiration to a degree.
Right. Yeah. And that was kind of what I wanted to get at is like, what's your take on ChatGPT? Do you think we're becoming dumber because we're relying on computers to make us feel smart?
Yeah, I thought about that when I lost to Watson on Jeopardy. Remember when IBM had the computer?
You did beat the other guy, to be fair. You did beat the other human. That should be noted.
Yeah. But the machine kicked my butt. And I remember thinking, like, this is kind of like, personally, it's really humiliating for me. But like, I think it's not great for the culture if everybody is like, yeah, our machines just know all the facts for us now. If I ever need that, I'll ask Alexa or I'll ask Siri or whatever, because I really feel like we need facts to make good decisions, whether that's who to vote for, what to study, who to date. Like your life is full of decisions. And if you don't have the right facts, you're not going to sit and look them all up. You're just going to make a half-assed decision, basically. Right. And I think that's maybe the destiny for our culture is people making worse and worse decisions unless we take advantage of the new information access instead of just kind of outsourcing our brains.
That, and selfishly, I think that's going to make Jeopardy even more popular because there's not going to be that many smart people anymore. So people are going to want to see people who actually fucking know their shit.
We only have 4 contestants this year, Scott. Only 4 people auditioned.
Do you think it'll be
I mean, Jeopardy, like, I feel like as a kid being like kind of a trivia nerd, you felt like there was some social utility to it. You'd be like, someday somebody's going to want to know, hey, what's the name of the bassist in that band? Or what's the name of the woman in the TV show? And like, I'm the guy at the office that knows that stuff. Yeah, nobody needs that nerd anymore. Everybody just do those. Like we're useless. Except
you're being outsourced.
You've been outsourced by ChatGPT.
That is correct.
Redundancy. Your job's been eliminated.
Do you think in the future there's going to be computer versus computer Jeopardy? Who has a smarter computer?
I was in a hotel a couple weeks ago and I just started feeding Jeopardy clues into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And the thing about Watson was not actually better than human players. It was faster. It had better buzzer. So, when it got in, when it knew the answer, it got in. But ChatGPT, I think, just as far as the clue answering, is better than any human player. Yeah. You can still write clues that fool it, but it's difficult.
How do you fool it?
And
what's the philosophy of fooling it?
The wording, I think.
Yeah, a lot of it is, it's just got a big text corpus. So if you come I fed it a few clues. Like I had just been in a country music museum in Nashville, and I saw an interesting fact on a placard, and I made the Jeopardy clue out of that, and it didn't get it. And I was like, oh, like maybe this is something that's not easily on the internet. Like you have to go to a physical place to see this fact. The other thing would be like if there's an element of wordplay, take the word elating and move the G to the front and you get gelatin. That's the kind of thing you can build a Jeopardy clue out of. But ChatGPT doesn't have that use case, in its text corpus, so it can't do it.
It will. Right. Do you think Terminator's coming, Ken? Do you think we're going to be in the age of Terminator here in our generation?
I was
scared of
I was in a car ride with a guy who turned out to be an AI professor, and I asked him that question. I was like, why do we think they're all evil? And he's like, first of all, it's pop culture, but it's also like pop culture going back. It's like in the West, our whole creation myth is like somebody rebelling against the creator.
Yeah.
Adam and Eve rebel against God in the Torah. Lucifer rebels against God in Paradise Lost. Frankenstein's monster. We have this. Our mythology is all about the creation rising up and killing the creator. And he's like, so like we're locked into that, but we don't have to be. Like in Japan, like they have a bunch of just nature is full of a bunch of nice spirits kind of doing their thing that are really chill. And so when they think about robots and AI, they have a very different vibe. So that's hopeful, I guess.
I think I'll clap to that. All right, that made me feel a little bit better. Okay, thank you.
I'm sure the American culture will use it for good.
Ken,
we have years of evidence that supports that.
Ken, how strict are you with your kids doing homework?
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of thing is pretty counterproductive. It's hard for me because I was always the kid who would absolutely do what they were told. I'd do the least amount of effort to get the grade that I thought was okay.
Yeah.
So not really an overachiever, but definitely like it's not an option. I'm going to do this thing well because I'm oldest child, people pleaser, something.
Right.
And my kids like don't necessarily have that in every subject.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Well, they have AI.
So I don't know how to deal with a kid who's not like, well, of course I'm just going to keep doing this till I get it right. Or no, of course this essay's half-assed. I'm going to rewrite it, like. But like I do find that the Jeopardy thing of like, what are you curious about really helps because if a kid is not engaged, it's not because their memory's bad or their aptitudes are bad. Like the teacher just hasn't reached them. Like they haven't taught it to them in a way that sticks. So when I teach like my kid math, like he'll tell me what his teacher taught him and I'll be like, look, don't do that. Like if you do it this way, like it's much clearer. And like it actually works. Like he'll be like, whoa, that is better. And I feel like I'm actually a good dad for like 10 minutes,
I'm smarter than your teacher. I won Jeopardy 74 times.
Is it Princeton or bust for you, Ken, with your kids? Or if they go to a state school, are you going to like chew them out?
My son's actually a college sophomore already. And he put in applications all over the country, and he wound up like 10 minutes from here at the University of Washington.
Oh, that's a great
school. So he's
at
a state school, he's perfectly happy. I'm not a snob about education at all. Like, in fact, I kind of...
Those people are the worst,
it's all a little bit suspect, right? These kind of weird...
Yeah.
You get onto some Ivy League track and then you're set for life because you met the son of this guy and your roommate is the son of the CEO.
It's who you know.
I don't love that.
Yeah.
I don't love that.
Who's a stricter parent, you or your wife?
She is much better at child psychology than me. Like, like I'm the one, like my kid will just say something insane. I'm the one that'll be like, what?
Right.
And she'll be like, And then she'll like actually do it the right way and be like, hey, tell me why you think that. Or how can we help you do that? She's much more like I'm like the quick on the buzzer, the Jeopardy guy. And she's like, take a second.
That's beautiful, actually. I got a couple more questions. I know I'm everywhere on this guy. We're with the GOAT right now.
We are with the greatest.
You are a GOAT. You're one of the greatest brains.
He won the GOAT tournament. It's like official. You have a trophy that says greatest of all time on it in your home, right?
I do. It's like above me and to the left right now.
Do you ever go to bar trivia and just wear that around your neck and just like just dominate?
Just clunk it down on the table real loud.
Boom. How many points is this worth?
I don't really do bar trivia. It's not a good vibe.
No.
Like nobody
Yeah, right.
It's weird if I win. It's weird if I lose.
Yeah, exactly. You can't do it. Yeah.
Were there any like addiction years in Ken Jennings' life? Like, was there like booze? Did you ever like try hallucinogens? Like, did you go explore in the mountains of Egypt or?
No, it's like the worst behind the music. I don't even know what I gained 20 pounds during COVID, and that's like the dark part of my music biopic is like,
and
like
then he was
eating so many
normal.
carbs.
As a fan of like literature and writing, what's your take on the writer's block?
Strike.
On
the strike.
On the strike?
Yeah.
I mean, I have so many. I work with WGA writers. I have lots of friends who are WGA writers, and I'm really convinced that it's an existentially important moment that they don't let the studios turn writing into a gig economy. That it stays a job, and that's not what the studios and the streamers want. Like I got placed in a lousy situation this month where we still had a week of Jeopardy left to tape, and we already had 50 contestants flying in who had paid their own way, and crew members who needed the hours to keep their health care. It was a situation where on paper I'm like, boy, it's really good for the strike if I can shut down Jeopardy here, power to the people. But the moral calculus was just really complicated.
Yeah,
and
it's got to be.
And luckily my union was instructing people, you still got to work, you'll be in breach of contract if and it's in our interest as a union to make sure that like if we expect the studios to abide by their deals, we want our members to do it as well. So so I was in the good graces of my union, but I knew I'd get yelled at by keyboard warriors for hosting a week of Jeopardy, and I guess
you'd also get yelled at if you didn't.
Yeah, you get yelled at.
It was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do, but I kind of knew it was not going to be any fun, and it was a tough spot to be in.
Don't let them take your royalties, Ken Jennings. You deserve those, baby. You deserve those royalties.
Ken Jennings needs his back end.
Ken Jennings needs his back end.
Behind the back end.
Like the great thing about winning $2 million on Jeopardy or whatever it was is like I kind of feel like I can kind of do what I want now.
Yeah.
I'm good. I don't need to worry about the money
and the trophy and the GOAT trophy. What's worth more to you, the $2 million or the GOAT trophy?
I don't know if I can pawn the trophy. Like, is that real gold leaf? I don't even know.
Ken, this has been amazing. I got a couple more questions for you. I'll let you go. I know you're a busy man. Growing like. I do want to ask a money question. Fuck it, I'll ask it. What's the difference between the dough being a host and being a contestant?
Well, it's guaranteed.
We always used to give Alex crap about that because like we knew that he was making. We'd be getting these big checks, and I'd be like, Alex, you made more for this tournament than we did. Admit it. And he'd be like, he'd kind of grumble about that
as he rolls out in his McCarran or something.
Yeah, with a Canadian flag.
I think if you're James Holzhauer and you're making. If you're making Holzhauer money, you're making more than the host. And I think even today, maybe the contestants might be making more than me, because we're not making Alex money.
Well, the Masters tournament,
he had almost 40 years of tenure.
What about the homie from Wheel of Fortune? That homie makes a ton of money. Sajak.
I mean, they've got, when you've been in a job for like 40 years, like they have, think of the leverage you have.
Exactly. They can't replace Pat Sajak until he wants to be replaced.
And they're not going to replace Ken fucking Jennings, baby. Let's go! Our guy!
At least half the year.
Show pony.
Well, at least half the year, because he does split it with Mayim Bialik.
Okay, yeah. At least
she's great too, though. I like her too as a host.
Yeah, it's good to have the variety. It was so fun talking with you guys. Thanks for
thank you, Ken. It means a lot. I got one last question. I'll let you go. When it's all said and done, what do you want to be remembered by, buddy?
I mean, I was talking to a friend about this, and I was like, I'm at the point in my life where like I want to leave the world a better place, and it's hard to figure out how to do that. And he said, well, what if your legacy is like just, the joy that Jeopardy brings to people? And I didn't like that because it just seemed like such a cop-out. Like, boy, thank goodness that I get paid incredibly well to make Jeopardy viewers happy every night at 7:30, like it seems like it has to be more than that. When I was raising young kids, that's how you make the world better. Like by making your kids good people and fit for that world. But now that the kids are older, I think that's actually my next problem is what do I want to be remembered? But if it's just like if it's just like Jeopardy was so important in our house, I always, because people come up to me and they're like, it's not a show, that's my memories of my grandma, or, when my dad was sick, or just watching with my friends at college. Like Jeopardy's a real, it's almost like a ritualistic thing, that it takes people back, like Proust or something. And, just to be associated with that would be the honor of my life. It was always my favorite show.
It's beautiful, man. Thanks, Ken. You're wonderful, and you've made my family happy growing up, watching you kick butt out there. And I know Nick has a trivia show, and I know you inspired Nick as well. So
yes.
Thank you, buddy.
This was so fun. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, buddy.
Hopefully I'll be a
grab the
contestant.
book. Oh, I got one more. Sorry, one last question. Was it scripted? Did you know that answer when you lost Double Jeopardy? Felt like you knew it.
Yeah, it's all rigged.
It's all rigged.
It's all rigged. No,
David
no,
Stern.
that would be like against federal law to rig a game show. Sometimes
Alex
you just don't know the Daily Double or the Final Jeopardy.
Did Trebek say enough is enough, Jennings? You need it's done.
Are you never going to use
Get
H&R
that guy
Block?
out of here.
You're not using H&R Block to do your taxes, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you don't have H&R.
They offered me a lifetime of free services, so I will never forget H&R. If you're going to lose on Jeopardy, lose on the corporate question. Like, if you lose on like what is Belarus or whatever, you're not seeing a penny.
All right, respect.
You can't get a brand deal with Belarus.
No. Thanks, thanks, Ken. Really appreciate you. Go grab his book, and good luck out there, buddy. We're rooting for you.
Hell yeah.
Later, bud.